Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the Movies. Welcome back to the channel. This is a follow-up video that's probably about 2 or 3 years, probably getting on for 3 years in the making. And some of the most popular videos on my channel are these two videos that I made probably about 4 years ago and then maybe 2 or 3 years ago, respectively. And it's where I was talking about condensing some of the DVDs that you see behind me into plastic wallets so that I'd have more space to keep the collection that I wanted to keep, but be able to keep certain titles that I'm not likely to want to watch, sort of, once I've watched it, watch it again within the next 12 months, say, be able to keep it in the collection, have easy access to it, but also maximize on space. And I know a lot of people sort of in the movie collecting community and just in general, folks that have kept hold of their physical media have gone down this route of using these sleeves to be able to preserve space, but maintain a physical media collection. Now, like most physical media collectors, my preference is what you see behind me on a shelf in the proper cases, but I realise that I've got this room to play with, and I intend to keep getting physical media while it's made, and while I do donate things to charity shops and trade things into CEX and gift things on to friends and family that I no longer want, the majority of the collection stays put, and I enjoy maintaining this collection. But that comes obviously, like I say, with its sort of disadvantages when it comes to space. So when I started looking into this a few years ago and weighing up the idea, I initially put a video out asking for help and advice, and the resounding advice was that if you're happy with it, go for it. It's perfectly safe to do. So I wanted to do a follow up just to let you know sort of how it's going. I'm still regularly doing this. As you can see behind me, I still have a good 1,000 DVDs on display, and over to my left off screen, there's about the same in Blu-rays as well. But what I do is every month that I buy a new stack of DVDs and Blu-rays, I go through the collection and I think, right, okay, what do I want to keep? What do I maybe want to donate, get rid of, or whatever? And the ones I want to keep but don't want to keep displayed on the shelf, I then put into these wallets, and then I've got a nice collection building up on a small shelf over here of some baskets, and I'll show you a bit of B-roll footage, if you like, of what they look like and just how many you can get into them. But for context, this shelf, you can't see it, but it runs the width of this room, which is probably about 12 feet across, and one of those baskets fits an entire shelf of that in there. So it really is a great bit of space saving. For anybody who's asked me how it's going and if I recommend it, I absolutely do. I've had no problem with it any of the time that I've gone and got one of these discs out, because there's been worry and comments about scratching. I've never had a problem with it. My discs have all played absolutely fine. When I first started doing it, I was using fully plastic sleeves. So these are plastic outer sleeves, but then the inside sleeve was also a plastic one, just a smaller version for holding a disc. And it's absolutely fine. And like I say, this is not the copy of Dogma that I watch. I've actually got another DVD that's a better image quality, but because I know it's rare as anything to sort of get a hold of, when I found this version in a charity shop, I picked it up, and I decided that I'd have a spare, which is why it's been decased. But I now use these, which are sort of, I don't know if you'd call it felt backed, but they're fabric backed. And so they're a lot softer on the disc. And I found these recommended by somebody on TikTok that was doing this, and found them on Amazon UK. So I use those with the other plastic sleeve, which I should just reach off. If I'd been prepared, they would have been within arm's reach, but here we go. So I use that for the artwork and then that for the discs, and it works absolutely fine. And then I'll show you some footage now where I've just done a couple of these for the Meet the Parents trilogy to put them away. I've got the other one still to do, but it's just a great space saving thing. I would highly recommend it. I'll jump away to that footage now. So you'll have to just forgive the crudeness of my little display table here, folks. But I just wanted to cut away and sort of show you. So this is what the finished article looks like when they're in the sleeves. I'm sure anybody who's already doing this will know. But they take up so much less space. If I can just find the angle to show you. There you go. Take up so much less space compared to two regular DVDs. Let's put those on the side there. You can just absolutely see in comparison how little space they take up, and especially once they're flat there. So I'll show you what I do, what my process is, what everybody's process is for who does this. I like to use these to put the discs in because they've got a nice soft back, and I've found that they don't seem to scratch the disc. They keep the disc nice and safe and protected. Now, There will always be the concern that if you're going to regularly be in and out and, taking the disc in, out, just like you would if you were in and out of any case, you're likely to scratch it. But if you're only getting it out once in a blue moon to watch it and you're looking after these when you store them correctly, then really there should be no problem. So I take the disc out. There we go. One Meet the Parents prepared earlier. Gently slide it in to the thing, and then that's safe as houses in there. Honestly, there's no damage that's going to come to that unless I start ragging it in and out. We've then got the case, so I take the artwork out of the case, and then I can dispose of the case, recycle it. And then what I like to do is fold across this seam here so that you get on the front the artwork that you would get on the front normally and the spine. And then on the back, you'll just get the normal blurb. So, of course, when it's in the thing, you'll have this bit here, but really it doesn't matter and it's a small compromise. You could fold down the middle of the side spine if you wanted to, but for me, I don't think that looks very aesthetically pleasing. So I fold it like that. But again, it comes down to preference. So once it's in there, what I'd like to do then is just slip the disc in between the artwork so it's got that extra layer of protection. Make sure it's into the bottom and then tuck it in. And there you go. So that's pretty much everything that I'm doing with that there. I'll put a link down below to the actual sleeves that I'm using on Amazon for anybody that's in the UK. You'll be able to order the same ones as me. For the US, I'm sure that there'll be comparable ones if you can't order from that link. So there we are, folks. Hopefully that was a useful update. A few people asked for it. I know it won't be everyone's cup of tea. I know it's not what everyone would want to do with their collection. It's certainly not what I would want to do for all of my collection, but there are certain titles that I'm comfortable to do that with, and it gives me the option to maintain, as I say, the collection that I want to have with the space that I've got available to use. And it means that the things that are behind me and over to the left there can be the titles that are the ones that are the real standouts in my collection and the real sort of, the ones that are my favourite films and the ones that are the really sort of, culturally significant films. Whereas something like Meet the Parents, for argument's sake, or one of the ones that I'm looking at just over here is G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Doesn't necessarily need to be taking up shelf space there, but I've got it, for when I want to come round and watch those movies again, because I enjoy those movies. They're popcorn fun, they're cheese. Yeah, they're awful, but I enjoy them. And it's that sort of thing that allows me to keep the collection how I want to keep it. So hopefully, as I say, it's been a useful update for you. Very much an unscripted video. Very much just me sort of letting you know how I'm getting on with doing that in 2025. From a journey started in 2021. Leave your thoughts and your comments down below. As always, if you have any, drop the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And if you're not already subscribed and you're coming across me for the first time, I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I am very much trying to put more content out for you to justify that subscription. But if you have enjoyed me, please hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. It means the world, and it means I can see you in future videos to come as well. Take care of yourselves as always, folks. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.